People together for a year and don't know that their person has a 500 credit score.
How you do anything is how you do what?
Everything. Go buy you a cash flowing business.
Yeah. Putting my money into a life insurance policy, how it grows, etc.
So your mind, your ability to turn your ideas into income. A properly structured cash value life insurance. You're leveraging every dollar 3 to 4 times. You're now earning upwards of 8 to 10% a year minimum. So imagine going from 0.02 to 20.35. And so with that cash value growing, raising your death benefit.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Execute Podcast. I am your host, Herman Dolce, also known as the HaitianCEO, and I have an amazing, wonderful, special guest today, my wealth manager, Alexis Holifield. And as you saw on the thumbnail, we're going to discuss how I'm going to be able to leave $10 million to my 2 children. She's going to give you the blueprint of what she's setting up for my family and what you need to be doing for yourself. Alexis, Miss Holifield, all the way from Los Angeles. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
It's a privilege and a pleasure.
How was the flight in? How was the travel in?
It was lovely.
It was lovely?
It's very harmonious.
It was great.
It was
wonderful. Listen, we have a lot to talk about today. I think we met, was it 2 years ago? At Charles Noonan's. Shout out to Charles.
Yeah, shout out to Charles.
Shout out to
and
Charles.
The land banks.
Yes, and the land banks teaching us how to get land for like $14.50. I'm gonna put Charles's information. Y'all really gotta go tap in with Charles. Yes. And we've been connected ever since. You've been educating me on wealth, insurance, private banking, how to grow my wealth, how to protect my wealth, because everybody's trying to sue you, right? And I've learned absolutely so much. You've spoken to my community. They've been absolutely blown away. So before we go into those details, because this is going to be a master class, right? There's going to be a different type of podcast, a master class on that information. Tell the people, who is Miss Holifield? Like, what are you doing here? Who are you? What do you want?
what do you want? Well, first and foremost, I am an ambassador of the Most High. I have to start with that first.
I love it.
Immediately after that, I'm a wealth strategist, a professional day trader, and certified cryptocurrency expert. And why I'm here is because I find the most joy at advising for family offices. Just being in the space of actually seeing their operations, the implementation has been just such a joy and a passion, but then also understanding how complex it is and how inaccessible it is to the average person. And so that's why I'm here, because as an ambassador of the kingdom, understanding how wealth is built, I'm like, well, what about the people who would never actually have access to this information? So that was my goal, and that's why I am here.
Okay. In your intro just now, you really said a lot, right? So conversations that are not talked about on any type of social media platform when it comes to growing wealth, life insurance policies, how life insurance is supposed to be used when you're alive.
Hence,
life insurance, in addition to when you transition. Yeah. I want to pick some words that you said out. You talked about family office. Like the cool word for the last 2-3 years was trust, right? Oh, I got to get myself a trust. Okay, what are you going to put in it? Because it was just cool on Instagram, right? Something that people are not talking about is a family office, right? So there's probably some users like, what is that? Can you talk about what is that before we go into deeper conversation?
Yeah, definitely. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible.
Okay.
So a family office is just like a group of individuals that advise for your family wealth, but on a multi-dimensional level, right? So you have like financial planners. Some people say, oh, I have an insurance agent, or oh, I have like a stockbroker, but they're not really clear on, I don't want to say what they're not clear of. They're not really instructing us. They're not instructed to instruct us on the 3 dimensions of wealth and how it all works full circles, like those pillars we talk about. And we're going to get into. So that's really what a family office is. They make sure that all of their assets, everything that's in their portfolio is working together.
Right. Everything.
They're all communicating, and it's like what do they call that? A turnkey.
Right. And just so people understand, so when you came on to advise me, I had things all over the place. I had this, I had that. You was like, okay, well, why aren't these things aligned? I'm like, huh? Right. And every time we got on a Zoom call as we're structuring my business, my holding company, my taxes, my insurance, when you're telling me how my taxes, right, another conversation, can be aligned with my insurance policy, I'm like, what are you talking about? And how I can get funding through my life insurance policy. Her information is in the caption below. We're not going to talk about that right now. That's a higher level conversation. That really absolutely blew my mind. But you talked about the 3 dimensions. What are these 3 dimensions of wealth?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So I'm going to give them to you in order.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is the human asset. Literally.
Literally. Me, myself, and I.
Correct. And I'm glad you know that you're a we and not just an I.
Yes. Oh,
that's
indeed,
important.
Indeed.
The human asset. The second is going to be the intellectual asset.
Okay.
So your mind, your ability to turn your ideas into income.
Right.
Into, other things.
Right.
And then the last is the financial asset.
Okay. So Herman, right, is the human asset.
Correct.
My IP is like success has receipts or audit your circle.
You
those
got it.
Trademarks that I created.
Yep.
And how those trademarks or businesses that I created from my mind can create revenue.
You got it.
Okay.
And that's actually what creates the financial asset. So that's also did you track that?
Yes, I did.
So if there was a formula, remember back in school they had like X plus Y equals Z?
Yeah.
It would be like human times intellectual asset equals financial asset.
Got you.
But most...
Ooh, that's really good. Write that down. Everybody, paper and pen. Right? I told you this is going to be a master class. That's really good. I think I'm going to add that in my PowerPoint. That's
so
really
like
good.
literally human asset times intellectual asset equals financial asset. And that's one of the best kept secrets of the wealthy. Best kept secrets.
Okay.
Is that's the formula.
And then you step in to protect the financial asset, what everybody has produced.
Yes, for the most part.
Okay.
That's what I thought that I was getting licensed for until I found out that that's actually the least of their concern, because that human and intellectual asset literally produces the financial asset.
Okay.
So it is a concern for them, but not as much. So they're not asking, how do I make more money? They're asking, how do I master myself and increase the ideas that are producing my income?
Yikes. Okay.
So then that becomes a conversation versus just put your money here, put your money there. Once we've had the conversation, like our ongoing relationship, we have the foundation for wealth creation. So
Right.
what's next?
What's next?
And that's the family office space. That's why we meet consistently. We're asking, so what is the human asset focus this year? What is the intellectual focus this year? And how is that going to increase the financial focus this year?
Okay. No matter what I tell her, right? I'm like, it'd be a random thing. So I'm doing a VIP day in Philly next weekend, and I was like, oh, this is happening, and 70 people are coming. And then she'll be like, I could tell you looking to dig deeper. Okay, so you're gonna make how much from that? So what are you gonna do with that? And what are you gonna do with the people? What partnerships are related? I already know where your mind is going. It's always deeper, and it's always good to have somebody like you on their team. And we're going to give you your information so they can tap in with you. One of the first conversations that we had, before I get into that, we're going to talk about the 7 pillars.
Okay.
Is it's almost like this wealth conversation is uncomfortable and people get bored and scroll by. And people that pay attention are always blown away by the conversation, like me, because I've never heard of this before, right? Commercial break. Wall Street's Trapper, shout out to Trap. He said something interesting. He's like, there's financial prey and there's financial predators. The financial predators do not want you to have this information, right? Because your ignorance makes them a lot of money, right? Not understanding banking, not understanding taxes, not understanding wealth, right? Because you're trying to say, how can I make more money? My billionaire mentor was like, well, how can you reduce your taxes so you can make more money? He's having a different conversation. I was like, oh, wow, I never even thought about it. He's like, of course you didn't, because they didn't teach you to think that way.
Can I add a pin in there on what you just said? So I just want to emphasize on something you just said about his income, billionaire. His question. His question wasn't, how do I trade more time for more money? His question was, how do I reduce the money that I'm giving out based on what I don't know or who I don't know?
Damn.
Because that human asset is the resource. That's the network. That's where they say your network equals
your network.
Right. Because I want to share a conversation. So a couple weeks ago, I had the privilege and pleasure of flying in for one of my favorite clients because he invested in 2 hotels.
Right.
And so I remember us having that conversation when they were doing like the informational session, and he was giving us a time frame on how long it took them to do like a $1.7 million deal.
Right.
Do you remember how many stoplights it took?
No, how many stoplights? 1. Yikes. Just one.
1.7 million. Click.
Oh yeah, funny deal. Yes, one stoplight.
The human asset and the intellectual asset equal the financial asset.
Right.
If you're the, what do you call, the prey,
Right.
I'm going to think, how can I go work for more?
Football, yeah. They teach the prey to trade time for money.
Correct.
We're gonna do a bunch of offshoots, because where my mind goes is people are always offended when we're teaching this type of information. Be like, oh, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. So my what I say back to them is, well, everybody can't be an entrepreneur because it ain't for everybody, right? But everybody needs to be an investor. Everyone. You need to know how to invest money and grow money outside of your time. That just needs to happen. So financial prey, financial predator, it is not in your interest, the predator's interest, to give you this information, such as family office, taxes, the right insurance to get, because some of these insurance policies that we've been signed up for is a scam.
401ks.
Right. If I say that 401k is a scam, video is going to go viral. But, do your research on it, right?
But let's touch base really quick, if you don't mind, just for your family and community. The definition of scam. I know what we know it to be, or what we think it to be.
Right.
But the acronym is systematically creating another millionaire, and it's just not you. So your job is a scam.
Oh, that's what you're going to do?
But the acronym for job is just over broke. It's a scam. I don't want to be just over broke. Systematically creating another millionaire, which is the corporations instead of me. So I would just want to challenge their thought process on.
Right. And challenging people's comfort.
In a positive way.
In a
loving way.
In a loving
way, yeah.
Challenging people's comfort is very jarring. And that's why when I have these conversations and I get too much, I'm like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to do it. Like, it's all right. But as for me and my house, this is what we're gonna do, because I serve a big God, an abundant God, and I'm His child, and He gives me things in abundance. My people perish because of a lack of knowledge. So the knowledge that I get and continue to get, I'm gonna pass it down and allow it to grow. All right. Speaking of growth and giving people more knowledge, the first conversation we had were the 7 pillars. Do we have time to do a masterclass on the 7 pillars of wealth today? Can you give me some today? Can you talk to the folks? Let's see. I beg of you.
I'm just
flew
kidding.
all the way from LA.
No, of course. I mean, and honestly, I want to be transparent. I really wanted to have the conversation. I prayed over this conversation today.
You did? Good.
Of course.
Good.
Because I wanted to make sure that the things that impacted you most were the things that we could talk about.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I didn't want to be too like, I'm going to talk about this. I was like, I want to know what his key takeaways were.
Okay. Key
Before
takeaways.
we segue, what are some of your key takeaways from our call today? As you know, I always say.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I wanted to touch on those things. So if the wealth pillars are one of them, for sure.
Definitely. We got to talk about the 7 pillars, and we'll talk about the private banking and how we're setting up my private bank, and how we're going to leave multi-millions for my children. And my children are 8 and 7. Shout out to Bella and Olivia. And
Shout out to
how
them.
just investing in compounding interest, I'm going to leave an amazing seed for them. So we're going to talk about all that today. So let's get into the 7 pillars. How'd you blow my mind? Let's talk about that first.
So I believe what blew your mind was, and then I want you to tell me, because it's just my thought.
Okay.
I think it's just the ideology that you had so many of the things you were already doing in the right way. You were doing the right things in the wrong way.
Correct. They weren't.
I think that was what was most mind-blowing. It's like, oh, so this is how all of these things actually work together?
Right. Everything wasn't
They correspond?
Everything wasn't connected, because I got life insurance.
Right.
I was doing my taxes. I created a business. I was running ads that created revenue. I was doing all those things. And you was like, well, why are they so siloed?
Your real estate portfolio?
My real estate portfolio. Like, why are they not connected? I was like, what do you mean connected? And again, like, when you said, well, we need your taxes so we can help you get this life insurance policy. I was like, what does my taxes have to do with life insurance policy? Oh, well, Herman, if you have these taxes and we connect them to the life insurance policy, I can get you this much capital to invest back into the business so you can get assets, and then the assets will pay the loan. And that's when I went crazy.
Whoa.
And she had to give me the foundation of the 7 pillars for it to make sense. And I was like, oh, this was not in the same house, thus a family office.
See, I like that you put those two things together.
Absolutely.
So the 7 pillars are kind of like, I really liken it to like an architect.
Okay.
You know, when people start building wealth, and first of all, if we can, because I know Herman said to take our notes out. So note takers are money makers. And when you understand that the word wealth, like wealthy, are just the 2 words well off and healthy put together, that's just the first thing to understand.
One more time, because
The
somebody's
word
driving and they didn't hear
wealthy
that.
Are the 2 words well off and healthy put together. That's actually what wealthy is. So the reason that's important to know first is because you get to understand that there's not like a quantitative, most people's brains shut out something because it seems too far. I don't want to, that's too much. That's why they're offended, because you're trying to challenge them to be something more than what they see themselves as.
Yikes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the first thing is understanding well-off and healthy. Now, the definition of well-off for financial planners, wealth strategists, are that our client has more passive income than how much it costs to be them, and there's still money left over. Emphasis on passive.
Right.
That's why they're so focused on the human and intellectual, because they need to create things that create passive income. And then, of course, healthy. I won't go into that. You know, no nutritionist here.
Right.
But first, knowing that the word wealthy means well-off and healthy. That's the very first thing. That's like the soil. That's like test the soil. If we're wealth architects, I want to build here. This is good. Those pillars are the foundation of whatever structure they decide to build. Whether they want to build a residential, multifamily, a skyscraper, mid-rise, high-rise. That foundation is what is going to dictate that, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
But let's just say they're going to build a residential house.
Okay.
Right? The skyscrapers, that's like billionaire corporation stuff. Let's just start, basic.
Understood.
They're just going to build a house. Those 7 pillars that you're referencing are literally the pillars of a foundation. So have you ever seen a house being built? Of course. Okay. So they fix the soil. They put the wood down, and then they start filling concrete. 6 feet deep. Those wealth pillars are those pillars.
They keep it standing for generations to come.
For generations to come. And if that concrete, if anything's wrong with the concrete, it's off. Like it literally has to be evenly paved, has to be 6 feet deep. And those 7 pillars, no matter if they live in Bel Air, Midtown, Marietta, but it doesn't matter. The foundation of that infrastructure is going to be what it is. Does that make sense? Now, the quality is where we start talking about higher incomes, but the foundation is the foundation.
Okay.
So I would say liken them to that.
Okay. What's the first one?
So the first one is going to be a trust. So if we're writing them down, right, there's 7 pillars. The first one's going to be a trust. The second is business, in the order. So
in the order.
I like can visualize the picture that you've seen.
Yes.
Because you actually seen a visual graphic. Maybe somewhere we can add it for them.
Oh, definitely.
Or send it to them or something.
I'll give it to the team, or what I'll do is I'll put it in the instructions below so you guys can click on it and see what she's talking about.
Yeah, I want to make sure they can match a photo to a visual. Yeah.
Correct.
So there's trust, there's business, there's proper protection, there is private banking, there is retirement planning, there's your credit, and the principles.
That's 7. Let's go through it step by step.
Okay.
Number 1 is trust. It's been a sexy topic on God's internet for so long, right? And every person that makes $14 an hour says, I gotta get a trust, right? I know that there's so many different type of trust, right? The basic one is revocable and irrevocable. Can you tell people, please, once and for all, from a wealth manager who really does this and has clients in a family office, that trust is not a one size fits all?
Oh, definitely not.
Right. So when people are like, oh, I just want to create it, can you tell me how to do it? I'm like, no, I can't. You have to hire a professional to do it. No, you're just trying to sell me something. I was like, bro, it's literally a custom suit. So the one that I have, you can't have. You don't have what I have. You don't have 2 children. You're a single man. What do you need the trust that I have? I'm married. I have 2 children. My aunt and my mother live with me. I have a brother and sister that they won't be directly affected by my death, but indirectly they will. So there's certain things I got to put into place. You don't have those things. So talk to a professional. So can you talk about the myths that you see online about trust and the different type of trusts, et cetera?
I would definitely say, seek professional advice, because it's really important to have a personally tailored strategy and solution for what you're looking for. So like you said,
what?
Because you just threw in there about what's on God's internet and then said all the people that are earning $14.50 an hour are asking about a trust.
Yeah, they see a clip and it's like, I need a trust. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't.
So I was about to say for the people who earn and then it just
right.
It made me chuckle.
Right.
Tickle me, baby, chuckle that you said that. That's so funny. So for all the individuals that are earning, let's say minimum wage or lower amounts, sometimes what you see online as a blessing can really be a burden. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it can be some of the fees and the things, like I'll give you an example, like the trust structure that we were referencing for you, right? When people talk about the waterfall method and dynasty trust, the dynasty trust is nothing more than a 3-tiered structure that's tailored with a business trust, family trust, foundation. Well, if your business doesn't gross more than $250,000 a year, paying $30,000 for the structure of a trust that's a burden.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But if you're at that level and you still want to trust, you recognize the importance of having your assets protected, having a revocable trust. Now, there may be backlash on that because people are like, revocable trust, they're not real trust because creditors and debtors can still come pierce. That is true to an extent. But at the same time, all of their assets are still protected. So if they have debts that need to be paid, any of the accounts that they had, like let's say, for example, they had like a $30,000 lien with the IRS. Any bank accounts they have, they're going to reduce that $30,000 before they get it anyway. So it's still better that all of their assets are not going through probate. So some people say, oh, don't get a revocable trust as if it's better not to have one. No, it's better not to go through probate. Now, if your family has to deal with debt resolution, which is also something that's really interesting in the family office space on how they look at debt, what they do with it, and all those fun things. But having those conversations with your family and your things not going through probate will also always be more valuable, if you will.
Right.
But that's definitely like the starter point, just a regular revocable trust. And as entrepreneurs or even higher income earning families start earning closer to income brackets like yourself and above.
Allegedly. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Wait, what's the allegedly? Tell us.
I'm kidding. I'm go ahead.
Give us the tea. Okay. But as they start making more income, then it makes more sense to look into what's called a complex trust. So to sum all of that up and add a bow on it, when it comes to trust, there's simple trust, there's complex trust. Don't believe the hype that it's better not to have any trust instead of having a revocable trust.
Right.
But I will say that there is a simple trust and there's a complex trust. If you're earning anything under $250,000 a year, a simple trust instead of a complex trust makes more sense. Anything above $250,000, you want to look into complex trust structures.
And to break it down for the laymen that are listening to this podcast right now, how I like to explain it when people are like, well, should I get a trust or not? What trust should I get? Everyone to some extent understands life insurance. So when I was 21, I got my first life insurance policy, right?
Can I ask what inspired you to do that at such a young age?
I was in the right rooms talking to the right people, and they educated me. And it was like, and they was like, well, you don't have life insurance? It's right after college. I'm like, no. And it's like, well, you should get a policy in case something happens to you, your mom could bury you, right? And I was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, a funeral costs 20, 30 grand. Get a policy for like 50 grand. So your mom could bury you and you leave her like 10,000, because nobody was financially impacted by my death at 21, right? That's how it was presented, right? And then that life insurance person I had, he would call me every year. Any life changes? So for like 4 or 5, nothing happened. Then when I got married, he's like, okay, you need more insurance, right? Because now somebody's financially going to be direct if something happens. When you have children, you need more money. You have more assets. Now I have 2, 3 properties. If something happens to you, we got to pay off those assets. So the same thing with trust. As you grow, as your income grow, as you have more assets that you need to protect from litigious people who like to sue for no reason, you need to have trust and trust structures to protect that. So in the beginning, a simple trust is simple. What's pillar number 2?
Pillar number 2 is going to be a business. So I did hear you say earlier that some people are like, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. We live in a corporation. The United States of America is a corporation.
They're not ready for that conversation.
You should just do the same. So even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, your social security number is already being used as an EIN, so you might as well just get you one. You know, don't leave money on the table. You know, it was
That's where we're going today. We're gonna do this conversation. You know, they're gonna Google this and they're gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Listen.
DM her, email her. Do not contact me. All right, talk to the professional. Go ahead. I know this is what they're gonna do because we're
gonna add a support email. Don't DM me,
please. Right. Because she just said the United States is a corporation.
It is.
So should you. Don't leave money on the table. We're gonna get into it. So go ahead.
Yeah. So just don't. So because the thing is, like, sometimes I talk to clients that may be doctors or they may not be an entrepreneur, so the business to them is like
goes right over there, right?
They're like, I don't really need that. No, you don't need to, but all you have to do is just incorporate your name. like your personal phone bills and certain things that you are doing every day are tax write-offs when you do it under your business. And if you don't have a Bella Salon, if you will, I mean, even you got the hint.
Pay attention. Herman Dolce LLC, and it has its own EIN.
And who's Bella Salon?
Bella Salon is my daughter. Right.
And of course, I know I had to just ask that question to just further what I was saying.
So I created, the moment we knew what her name was, we created a business in her name, Bella Salon Dolce LLC.
So let me ask you, what inspired you to do that?
Again, education. I was educated on it. Ensuring that my daughter has 2 different credit profiles. Something for her SSN and her EIN. So she could double up the capital that she can raise.
Can we touch on that a little bit when we get to the credit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's interesting. I love that.
So she can get double the capital. So in the beginning, we're going to use her social security number to get as much capital as possible, invest and buy assets, and then we're going to transition that cash flow, put that money into the business checking account, which is using the EIN, and then get different levels of capital. So we're playing the long-term game 8 years ago when I found out what her name was going to be.
That's powerful. And then when you take that $15,500 tax deduction.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot about that part too. Like when I take her to Disney World.
And now would you put it in her SSN or her EIN? Of course you would put it in the
EIN. Yeah. Put it into the business checking account. Yeah. Because she's on my payroll.
Yeah.
So when she puts on the merch in front of Disney World for the family vacation, and I take a picture and I write a wonderful caption about wealth and real estate, now it's an ad, and I have to pay the model. And okay, that's a whole nother conversation. Talk to your tax professional.
We're just saying.
We're just saying.
But that's the business pillar.
So the business pillar. What's pillar number? Well, I want to stay on the business pillar for a little bit, right?
Let's do it.
So you're just saying, hey, just get the LLC, get the EIN, or purchase a business. Like what is it? Like, let's go deeper into pillar number 2.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you asked that, because when I heard you say LLC, I was like,
right. I know. We had to go deeper. It's deeper than that. Yeah.
Learn an enterprise. Learn about what enterprise is and get you one. I'm not going to say a LLC. I'm not going to say a corporation. I'm just going to say an enterprise. An enterprise. Because
you're giving homework?
I'm going to give this homework.
Okay.
This is a commercial break, as you say.
Go ahead.
I learned that we need to save water. For every prompt that we use on GPT, it actually uses fresh water. I never knew that until yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
It uses that much energy? Like
it actually uses water. Like there's actually fresh water used for every single prompt.
Oh, wow.
And I happened to look it up because someone told me, and my dad taught me to check my sources 3 times. I'm like, that sounds crazy.
That sounds crazy.
But it's totally true. So the reason why I give that commercial break is because I was going to say, do the research and search the prompt, but just be mindful with your prompts, okay? Save some water, okay? But identify what the first use of LLCs were, because limited liability companies, limited liability corporations, anything with limited liability has a limited liability. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if a person has a social security number and they peg it, which they normally do, to an EIN, but it's an LLC, they just peg themselves to something that has what?
Limited liability.
So where's the liability going?
Back to the person.
Okay. LLCs were originally used for property and art. It was not necessarily used for business activities and transactions. Yeah. So I'll just say enterprise. And then I'll also add acquisitions. Like, honestly, we're in the greatest wealth transfer of our lifetime.
This is
for
huge.
The next 5 years, our generation is going through something the world has never gone through, because we're literally changing from one monetary system. The world, not just America. The world is changing from one monetary system to a whole nother system, a tokenized, digitalized system. And the reality is, the best time to have started this conversation was 5 years ago.
Scary. But nobody would have listened 5 years ago.
Oh, there are some people who did. We're one of them.
Yeah, nice facts, pleasure.
Nice to meet you. But the second best time to do it is now. But not to try to start a business, I'm not saying don't start a business. I'm gonna be very clear. What I'm saying is, for example, you have a client and they come to you for their credit, they get 700, 800 credit score. We know you're going to get them funded.
Right.
Option A would be to look into starting a new business, going to form an LLC, learning a new enterprise, learning how it works, why it works, market research, development, all of that. That takes years.
Years.
To do, especially if you're coming out of corporate America. Option B, acquire a company. I hear you mention that sometimes to your community, and I just love it every time you say it. You're like, you know what? I see one of the videos, you're like in a basketball gym. You say, you know what? You don't even have to listen to me, but just listen to this. Go buy you a cash flowing business. Whatever you do, just buy a cash flowing business, because for the direction that the economy is going in, make business your business. And make banking your business to understand how banks are banking to make business.
It's so much easier and so much more beneficial to buy a business, buy an asset, instead of starting a new LLC, because it was already created. It already works. They have the human capital already in there that's invested and know the business better than you. So you don't really need to know it. You just need to know the numbers, right? Okay. Am I able to, I just got you 100,000 in funding. All right, you purchase this business either for the whole 100, or you put the 10% down payment for the SBA to pay the rest. Can the revenue that this business is making service the debt? Great. Now here's the other thing you get the taxes from that business, so you can go get no personal guarantee funding, right? You have this asset that's cash flowing. Like, it's just so much that happens when you just go buy a business with the 100,000 I just gave you. It's so much more easier.
Something you just said too that was really powerful.
What?
That you don't have to personally
guarantee, because you got taxes already and the business is already making money, right? So you don't have to connect it to yourself. That's a whole nother conversation, but that's
like, for those of you all who are looking to retire rich, if you feel like it's too late, tap in with Bella Salone Academy. They're going to get you on the right track. Checks
in the mail. I appreciate that. Pillar number 3. Yes. Let's get into it.
So pillar number 3 is going to be proper protection.
Okay. Now, is everybody trying to take what you got?
Yes. And the interesting thing is, I learned many years ago, well, like 6 now, that every working adult has an insurable need. I had never heard of that before I got into wealth management. Okay. Like, when I was just getting into finance and getting my licenses, like, I just thought, like, just have insurance. Like you said, just $30,000.
Yeah, a little policy.
Just a little something so you can make sure you're buried.
We're not doing the GoFundMe on God's internet. We're not doing that.
No fish fries.
No fish fries. You got $20 a month to protect yourself. Cut it out. But go ahead.
So
all
what
shade.
I learned.
All shade. I mean that with all shade. Yeah, grow up. Go ahead. Go. I
endorse that message. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
What I learned is that every single working adult has an insurable need.
Okay.
So it's not just burial. It's actually 10 times your annual income.
Yep.
So whatever you earn annually, just multiply that by 10. So if you earn $48,000 a year, then your insurable need would be $480,000. And so that's to ensure that your income, like how the gentleman was telling you, so it's not a financial impact. So that in addition to that, your income that the corporation or your job was paying you can be replaced for at least 10 years. At least
10 years.
Minimum, which is not a generation. A generation is closer to 25 years. But, hopefully you left them some, intellectual assets that they can use to master their human and financial assets to keep it going past 10.
To break it down even further, because she said something really important, right? Insurable need. That's how much insurance you should at minimum have. That policy should be on yourself. So me, the first insurance policy I got after I got married, I think I was making like $50,000 a year. He's like, okay, you need $500,000. I was like, where'd you come up with that number? He was like, if something happens to you, your wife should be able to still have your income for the next 10 years. After 10 years, she should have been able to figure it out by then. I was like, oh, that's the math. He's like, yes, your wife is going to be, because in my mind, oh, my dad died, we get $1 million is up, right? No, that's not how it works. There is a math behind it. We are able to cover his income for the next 10 years, so there's no burden. The burden that he's gone is terrible, but we still have his check, technically speaking. So insurable need. What else do we need to know about insurance?
The other thing that I would desire for everyone to know about insurance are the living benefits.
The living benefits, not the death benefits.
Not the death benefit.
How I can use insurance while I'm alive.
While you're alive. Like everything else, we have health insurance, mandatory. If you don't have health insurance, they're fining you. You know that, right?
What do you mean they're finding you?
Fining.
Yes, they're finding you.
They fine you. Yeah, they'll find you too if you don't pay now.
Yeah.
But there's fines for that.
Right.
Car insurance. If you don't have insurance on a car, you're not even leaving the lot.
Yeah.
Right. There's homeowners insurance. There's insurance. There's travelers insurance. There's insurance on every single thing of value. life insurance has been around since before Roman days, because the human asset is actually the most valuable asset. Now, it just so happened that those individuals, the powers that be, they had to create a loophole for themselves.
Okay.
You know, they wanted to make sure that not only can we use this for life, to ensure that our life is insured, but what about our money, our income? We need our life and our income insured. And that's where individuals maximize using life insurance for living benefits mostly.
For living benefits. And we're going to talk about how we're using my life insurance policy as a living benefit and for private banking. That'll be the second half of this conversation.
I truly honor what you're doing.
Listen, once you gave me this information, I was like, we have to get it out, the stuff that we can talk about on the internet.
Because can I add a little story time? Just really quickly?
Yeah,
I'm not going to take us too long here.
Go ahead.
But when you and I first met, we were sitting at the table, we were chatting, and you heard family office, and you said, I'm not going to mention a name, but you said, I have someone I'm going to introduce you to.
Yeah.
She's also in family offices.
Yeah, she is.
You know,
no, we could talk about her. Lala, like she's been on the podcast. Yeah, that's my attorney.
We gonna add her then.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't ever name drop, but you got it.
Yeah. So
she came up, and she pretty much asked, like, you know, what's inspiring you to do this? I.e., share.
Yeah.
Because it's such a private.
It's such a private conversation. It was one of the first things she asked you, like, yeah, why are you talking about this? Right.
Yeah.
Because people don't have this conversation.
And then that was further solidified when you told me the story about your acquaintance.
My acquaintance, right?
But yeah,
like, who told you about family office? That's so interesting. Commercial break. I'm gonna do a toxic conversation for 30 seconds, right? Because you said protection. Prenups. Is prenup a version of insurance?
I would not say no, but I would say a trust is a better option.
Ooh.
Like if, how do they say, my man.
Right.
Right. If me and my man are vibing and this is my husband.
Right.
He's going from a man to a husband.
Right.
Babe, I don't need a prenup. We just need a trust.
You just need a trust. I love it. So trust over prenup.
Yeah. He needs to have a trust anyway. What are you prenup up for? For the courts to go back and forth? Because when a prenup is initiated, who's getting paid the most?
Right.
The lawyers. So you're still...
Right.
It's still like a matrix type of thing versus if we're empire building. That's why I said like the wealth architect, right? When you're building with someone and you're like, we're wealth architects with one another, I want to honor and protect you. And I want to honor and protect me right now and later, especially now because I love you right now. I don't know how we'll feel about each other later, especially women. You know, we have those things. I have those hormone things that they call them.
This is heat.
So yeah, it would literally just be, hey babe, instead of a prenup, what do you think about a trust? That way, the assets that you have, the assets that you feel like you want to guard, because those are things that you created before I was here. I don't foresee that I would be with a man that thinks that way, but if he did,
right,
put it in a trust.
Put it in a trust. You know what's interesting?
And then start one for me. And we'll start building. And that way when I leave, or when, not saying that would be, God forbid, but because it's also unfortunate too. I've had clients like that who've had very luxurious lifestyles. Husband had a prenup, and now they're just kind of on their own after 10 or 15 years of a marriage. So that's why I would say in both instances, make sure that there's a trust created. Whoever does it, whoever pays for it, do it together, merge accounts, whatever. But have your man, your husband, your person to be, get a trust. And then instead of him, you know, if you want to do honeymoons and those things, I would suggest a trust. Like get something that you all can build, invest in together. So that way, God forbid, you have your assets that you can walk away with. And he has the assets that he built to walk away with.
Because whether or not you stay together or not, the trust is an asset in and of itself that's going to be beneficial whether you stay together or not. We're going to stay on this path just for 30 seconds, and we're going to get back to the fourth pillar. I plan to be married the rest of my life, right? But if I had to do this again, right, and start dating, it'll be really, really different, because now it's super awkward to say, what do you bring to the table? I think that's not taboo. This is why I can't date now. But I think there's a way to ask questions. And one of the questions when you start dating, and everybody should be doing, quite frankly, in my opinion, what is your credit score?
Yeah.
What are your money habits? How much do you have in savings? These uncomfortable conversations come up at the wrong time, when it's too late.
It's too late.
You know, when it's too late.
That's a valid point.
Yeah, we're trying to buy a house because we've been together for a year and I love you, but you have a 500 credit score and you have $5,000 saved up. but I have an 800 credit score.
Are people together for a year and don't know that their person has a 500 credit score and $5,000 saved?
Yes, they don't. Like I said, they don't know till it's too late. Now it's time to buy a house.
Wow.
You have 5,000 in saving. I have $500,000. I got 800 credit score. You have a 500 credit score, and then we're gonna merge this together, right? It's not a good look because the money habits that you have right now, how you do anything is how you do what? Everything. So it tells me a lot about character, behavior. It's just little things like that. So that's why I think everybody should have a really good understanding of credit, life insurance, taxes, all this stuff. Because if we're going to come together, then maybe I could educate you, make you better. So as a unit, we'll be better. Because I also saw this interesting podcast where this guy, and he was talking to men. He's like, everybody's just trying to get this beautiful woman and do all this stuff. You guys are just trying to marry a passenger. And he's like, you need to be looking for a co-pilot. Right? Somebody who matches you. You're the pilot, but she's a co-pilot. If something happens to you, she can land this thing. But you're too busy looking for looks. Somebody who got a back her, but she looked good on the arm though. But she's just a passenger. Whether she's in economy or whether she's in first class, she can't land this thing. If it goes to...
That is a really powerful
analogy. Was a
analogy.
powerful... I was like, wow. What the girls do? They do that thing?
Yeah. I have to do a commercial break on that real quick.
Talk to me.
Because you said it was toxic. I want to turn it tonic. I think it's really important. There was a portion on Charles's podcast that went viral for a long time.
Okay.
Because I said, if I hear another woman say they need a 6-figure, get you a 6-figure skill set. And that takes me to like our responsibility as women. And not that this is about women, but it is, because especially when I'm working with men or like entrepreneurs, I always ask them about their wife. Like, where's your wife? Even with you. Yep.
It's one of
I
your
work
first,
closely.
You work closely with my wife. And then you saw some gaps and we was like, oh, we need to align your wife.
Here.
So let's teach your wife some skill sets, Herman. Yes. So she's learning trading, doing an amazing. So now she's making her income. But go ahead.
Yeah. And on top of that, the conversation of being a queen on the queendom, right? If two people are talking about moving in a home together, so this is our, this is our nation. This is our domain. This is our castle. So if I'm the queen of the queendom, we have, as Proverbs 31 women, we have responsibilities on how to make sure even before a husband, because in Proverbs 31, it says a man who finds a wife. That means she was already a wife.
Wife when he found her. Say it again. It's my favorite thing to say. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor in the Lord. That means you were a wife when he found you. Wife is not a title. It is a character.
It's a character and an identity. And so we have a responsibility to ask those questions and to make sure those questions are asked as women, especially in a household, especially women who are married or you're dating, because the only way that you would be with someone for a year and not know that they don't have that is because you weren't asking those questions. Yeah. There's something called a courtship manual from a specific religion, if you will, and it talks about these questions, and credit scores are one of them. Mental health is another one of them, how they think about money. So I just want to add that in there, is that as women, ladies, sometimes I see a lot of feathers get ruffled about the prenup conversation. But what if you came in as a value proposition to say, hey, well, instead of a prenup, let's do a trust, and you fund it since you're my husband. Right. Yeah. Right. Because the root word, where the root word husband came from, right?
No. Talk to me. Educate me.
Husbandry.
Which is?
Farming.
Get out of here.
Cultivating.
Ooh, cultivating.
Yep. So the farmer goes out and he cultivates the soil. He prepares it. He prepared the soil. Nothing can grow if the soil is not nutrient dense. But if he goes to cultivate soil that's not nutrient dense, then
what fruit are you expecting? That doesn't
correct.
Make sense.
So women, we have a responsibility, A, and then B, just make sure that we get a trust instead of a prenup.
Instead of a prenup. This was a great little commercial break.
Yes.
And your firm, your company helps with all that. Contact information will be in the YouTube description. We are halfway there. Pillar number 4.
So pillar number 4 is my favorite. So that's private banking. That's my favorite pillar.
Yes, that's my favorite pillar too.
Yeah.
This one is nuts because you were like, Herman, how much you got in the bank? You're an idiot. I was like, what? Nah, get it out of there. There's public banking and there's private banking, and you need to start putting money into your private bank. Let's talk about that.
I treat all my clients like family. I love you, Herman. I would never call you an idiot. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But private banking is really a way of life. It's a way of thought, and that's why it's my favorite. Because there's like this book. It's called The Modern Money Mechanics. There's 3 books that we need to write down.
Okay, write this down.
A, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Know how the Federal Reserve was created. B is going to be The Modern Money Mechanics, which is a book written by the Federal Reserve on how money works, right? So we didn't even know that there was a book on how money works. Hello, we're all on the internet looking for how money works, and it's the whole manual. Written by
the people who print and control money, right? Who make the money work.
So what they're telling us about how money works is, I don't want to be a scientist here, but it's called velocity, right? Circulation. And as Myron Golden would say, cash perpetuation. And that's what bankers know. They understand. They realize that money is not meant to be accumulated. It's meant to be perpetuated. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So money is intended, a banker thinks about dollars like employees. A saver thinks of money like an employer.
This is nuts.
A spender and a saver thinks about the dollar like an employer. So they work for the dollar. They're going to go trade their time. We talked about the $1.7 million. They clicked a couple buttons, had a stoplight.
Right.
Unheard of, right? Done. Right. But if you go talk to the average person who may be watching, or well, I know you all are extraordinary and above average. That's why you're still listening. But the individuals who would ask that question, or you ask them that question, well, how would you make 1.7 million? They would think to go work. They would say 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Well, if I just stay on my job for... A banker thinks to themselves, how can I put this money to work to bring back what it is that I need? So that's the main thing. Private banking is understanding how to make sure that your money is not only protected, but that when you send it out, it comes back. And I want to add one more caveat that's super, 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 super important. Financial advisors, stockbrokers, a lot of times they talk about investing. And they'll say, don't invest money you don't have to.
I don't know.
LOOSE. Lose. They say, don't invest money you don't have to lose.
Yeah.
That's always, you always hear that on every disclaimer.
Yep.
Bankers don't lose money.
Bankers don't lose money? I beg your pardon?
No, we don't. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Homeowner. We'll call him Carl. He's a consumer. So Bob will be the banker. Carl's going to be the consumer.
Okay.
Two different people. Carl, the consumer, goes to buy a home. He's living in the home. He has a mortgage. Build up some equity. Job market changes. He loses his job. He doesn't pay his mortgage for 3 months. What happens?
He loses his house.
He loses his house. Okay. Who is servicing that loan?
The homeowner was.
Yep. And where'd the homeowner get the loan from?
From the bank.
Right. And who gets the house back?
The bank gets the house back.
There you go.
No loss.
No loss. So when Carl went to the table to sit at the bank, right? He told them that I want to get a loan. The bank said, okay, well, how are we going to collateralize that loan? Because in the case that you don't pay it back, we're not going to lose.
We're not going to lose.
So what are you going to put up to make sure we don't lose? And he says, the house.
The house. You could take it.
You could take it. If I can't pay for it.
Because the house was never the bank's in the first place.
Correct.
Right.
The loan was. The dollar was the employee. And it was out working. Does that make sense?
1,000%.
So the investor, which is the person, or even real estate properties, I have multiple clients that have had 100 doors and have these beautiful portfolios. But when the economy shifted during COVID,
they took
everything, like it tanked.
Yeah. They took the asset.
They took the asset, and the person lost years of investing. But guess what the bank got?
They got, not only did they get the loan payment for X amount of time, so they got the cash flow, but they get the asset.
Yep.
And then they're going to sell the asset for
and don't forget the equity that was probably in the property.
In the property, right. So the bankers never lose. So we have to think like a banker.
You have to think like a banker. Even with our 401ks, our IRAs, right? Those things have complete potential on the upside, but they have no protection on the downside.
Ooh.
So in 2008, 2009, this is researchable, there was $2.8 trillion lost and
disappeared,
gone from retirement accounts and pension accounts. Gone. They woke up and they said, well, you're just going to have to work another 15 years.
Yep. Who was protected? Because you said protection from the upside and the downside. What financial strategies or what financial instruments could have mitigated such losses? Like, who was prepared for that? Well, not who was prepared per se, but who had the right paperwork so that they didn't feel that, like they didn't have to work an extra 15 years.
I would say the individuals that had properly structured retirement and financial plans with insurance products at the base of their retirements. And in layman terms, that just means having properly structured, whether that's cash value life insurance that you're using as a life insurance retirement plan, or having an annuity that you're using in alignment with your 401k or whatever. And the reason for that is because they literally have complete potential on the upside. Some of them have caps. I'm going to be mindful of what I'm saying because I know how people on the internet are.
Yep, they are. They'll be in the comments.
Some of them have caps.
Right.
Depending on how you structure them, there are ways to structure them where there's complete potential on the upside, but there's also complete protection on the downside. There's a guaranteed protective floor. So literally for individuals who have annuities and had annuities, their money is still perfectly fine and intact, which makes a huge difference between that person and a person who has to be a greeter, unfortunately, at a retail store because they did not know how to invest like a banker, right, instead of the investor.
You know, ever since we had our conversation, right, I think like that now, right? Me, my wife, Damaris. So like we would see like a 70, 80-year-old that's a greeter or that's bagging groceries, working hard, right? And when I see them, I know immediately they didn't get information, right?
Can you touch on that? That's deep.
Right, because once, and you know, everybody's listening to the podcast, my mentees from Bellastone Academy, I call them my executors, because it's two things why a 75-year-old is greeting at Walmart. They didn't get the information, or they got the information and didn't execute on the information, right? But 95% of the people, they didn't get the information. Because I remember when you was talking to me about private banking, and you was like, well, why are you, if Damaris is paying you $1,000 a week, why are you putting that into a bank? I was like, where else am I supposed to put it? And he's like, no, let's start your own bank. And and we started structuring paper. We're like, no, we're going to put it in here. So not only do you still have access to it, but the money grows. And I was like, okay, well, I wasn't using that money anyway, so I'm going to give it to my kid, leave it to my kids, and it's going to grow. And you literally showed the math. Here's the math, Herman. If it's in here for 10 years, this is what it's going to be. If it's here for 15 years. So literally, we came up with a plan where just on my side income, my children are going to be millionaires by the time they're 21, which money I was making anyway. Another conversation. Her information is in, her firm information is in the link below. I want to go into pillar number 5 now.
So pillar number 5 is going to be retirement planning.
Retirement plan. Great segue.
Great segue.
Great segue.
Right? And so it's just really imperative. I would say with that, just really what we just went over.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would just echo that again.
So right now in America, retirement is 401k and Social Security, and pensions don't really exist anymore. I think my dad was probably the last generation. So my dad had a pension, and my mom's getting like $3-4 grand a month from it. So God bless her for having that. She has a Social Security and she has a 401k. This was the 3 pillars back in the day. That stuff is gone now, right? Yep. It just doesn't exist, right?
They actually have like an American stool that they like draw. So if you could just like imagine like a stool with the 3 legs
to keep
it has retirement, pension, Social Security.
Social Security, right? So pensions are gone. You guys allowed the corporations to take it away from you because you voted the right politicians in office. Good job, right? Social Security is a joke, right?
Correct, yeah.
So like my mom's Social Security check is like under $2,000.
Not only is it a joke, but there is a word on the website, on the documents. I know most of, okay, let me not assume. I know all of you guys probably already do this. So just go ahead and log into socialsecurity.gov, check your transcript, and see at the bottom when it says that the Social Security Trust Fund is most likely to run out in 2035 or
it's
sooner.
On the website.
Oh, yeah. This is notably, I mean, even last year, there was a scare where they didn't have enough money to pay out veterans, to pay out Social Security, if the debt ceiling wasn't raised and all of these things, because the Social Security is a trust fund.
It's a trust fund.
Correct. And our Social Security numbers are account numbers and things. So obviously you can't take out more than what's being put in. That's just where that is. And then the pension, as you said, from the administration that you voted in. Good job.
Good job. Yeah, it's
that was good.
Yeah, it's gone.
So the only thing that we have left is our personal savings.
Right.
And that's why private banking is such an important concept, because when you recognize that I have a reserve of money and it's up to you and only you to figure out, like you said, the lack of information, how they're going to take that reserve of money into retirement and make sure that they don't outlive the money.
They don't outlive the money.
Correct.
And the money needs to outgrow you and outpace you, which is why getting this information as early as possible, as soon as possible, is super important. Commercial break. Let's just do some math real quick. I am 30, 35, right? And the numbers change as you get older, but we just want to give you a baseline. I'm 30, 35 years old. What's the percentage of my income should I be putting away in private banking, i.e. life insurance policy, because my 401k doesn't have the downside protection. That's just another conversation, guys. How much of my percentage of my income should I be putting away on autopilot? I shouldn't even be looking at it.
A minimum of 15 to 25%.
Yikes.
And based on the numbers that you even got to see, because there was a table that you were able to see as well that had the ages. So that if you did mention like 401ks, if you're getting a 401k, get your match.
Get your match.
Right? Match it, get that. But outside of that, making sure that they're setting aside at least 15 to 25% of every single dollar.
Every single dollar.
Correct.
And it's a good habit to my younger people watching this podcast to have these things on autopilot. So when you make $100, you just know immediately you have 75. Immediately you have 75. You don't have 100. You have to start thinking like that. So wealth building is on auto. Wealth building is systematic. That's another conversation. It has to be put on a system, or else you're just never going to get there.
You know what I was just about to say? What? I was just about to say, think about how the IRS is systematic. They don't
trust you. They take it out, yank,
before you even get the money. So why when I ask the question, or when I say to clients, or I'm teaching, or I'm speaking, pay yourself first, people always say, what does that mean? I'm like, well, I know you probably can't pay yourself first unless you're an entrepreneur.
Right.
But if you're not, make sure you're the person immediately after that. Because if the government is getting a percentage of every single dollar, but you're not.
Right. Exactly. Automatically.
Systematically.
We have been taught bad money habits, or uninformed money habits are just passed down generation to generation. I gave a talk, right? And commercial break, guys. I gave a talk, and I had some people stand up in the room, and I was like, hey guys, I want to have an example. Let's talk real quick. How many people here, who's not afraid to tell me how much you make a year? And some people brought their children. So I'm only talking to people who brought their children. How much do you make a year? Oh, I make $125,000 a year. Great. How much does your child make? He don't make nothing. And I'm like, okay, that's what's up. So who has more money? He's like, I have more money. I was like, do you? He's like, yeah, I do. Confidently. I was like, okay, well, what's your mortgage? You have a house? Oh, my house is $300,000. I was like, oh, you have a house of $300. How much college debt are you in? How much car note debt are you? How much credit card debt are you in? Right? So I'm going to ask the question again. Who has more money? You or your 10-year-old? Right? You are in the negative. Your 10-year-old is at 0.
You guys have a mic I can drop?
Right? You were making $125,000, but you're like $750,000 in debt, $500,000 in debt. You're in the negative. He's at 0. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to teach him to do the exact same thing.
You know, interestingly, we have a preparatory academy. Right. And so it's called Skip School. And we always say we teach the skill sets, mindsets, and tool sets that the traditional school system simply skipped over. It came about because I recognized that we make the most important financial decision at 18 years old with no knowledge.
No
Some families have it, but very, very few.
Very, very few.
You have no idea that we're signing a 360 deal, and they call it a student loan. Right. So you're actually already making a very important financial decision based on
that you can't discharge. You can't get rid of it. The government want their money.
Correct. They will take, I'm seeing they're garnishing wages. They're doing all types of different things. So it's really imperative. The mindset, like you said, them knowing it younger is absolutely key.
And this is why you've been so important to my family and my family office, because right now you're teaching my wife the skill of trading, right? Guess what she's going to do? She's going to teach my daughters those skills, right? So now my daughters are going to have the human asset, is going to have an intellectual asset, right, on how to create money, right?
And manage all of that you're leaving.
And manage all of it. So my kids are going to know how to make $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 a month, right, passively. We're going to teach them that skill. They're going to have that skill at 18, 19, 20. In addition to that, now that they have that money, they're going to have the education on what to do with it. You know, you didn't make 100,000. You have 75 because 25 of it is going into this account.
Correct. Put
a little bit into cash flowing business. I'm going to teach you how to live off of 10% from the beginning. You only need 10,000. You're 18 years old. Like what's going on? And those automatic behaviors, right? Listen, my kids, if they want to work at 30, they'll want to work. But since we put systems in place and are teaching them these things, they're going to be
banker.
Yes.
That's what banks do. They've literally systematized using every single dollar 3 to 4 times.
Right, 3 to 4 times.
That's a whole another conversation for another day.
Whole nother conversation.
But 1,000%.
I think we're at pillar number 6 now.
Yeah. So pillar number 6 is credit.
Credit.
So actually, let me get mine over.
It's my favorite part.
I want to actually chat about this. This is exciting because it's really. One more thing on the retirement pillar, retirement planning. That is not a fear-mongering conversation. It is not to say that no one will make it.
Yeah, they'll do
because, a lot of times they're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So it's not a fear-mongering conversation, but definitely get and obtain a financial review and make sure you're on track.
Right.
To not outlive your money.
Outlive your money.
To this credit portion. This one's very important to me. I have my imaginary notebook here.
Okay.
Because, funny thing. The private banking is our retirement plan in family offices. We're using private banking to go acquire more interest and income producing assets, right? And that we don't have like retirement, like we're servants, right? So it's no, the money's going to keep money, right? But that's because we understand how money works. Now, for people, which also changed how we look at credit and how we use credit. For people who don't know how money works, they have like a totally different trajectory when it comes to like retirement planning. Like they'll say, when do you want to stop working? They'll say like 10 years, 15 years. But then they come across a Bella Sloan Academy.
You are so silly. Right.
It's like,
right.
I can collapse decades into days.
Collapse time.
I can collapse. Hold on. So you mean to tell me I can collapse decades into days?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me that I can join your academy? I can improve my credit.
You're so silly. Yep.
But seriously.
Yep.
This is so serious because there's a lot of conversations right now. 400,000 women. And shout out to Femininity and Finance, right? That's how we're teaching Janelle this trading. They brought some research back to me yesterday that 400,000 Black women specifically have been laid off.
Yikes.
From the government jobs, from the works, and all the things. So a lot of those people don't know what they're going to do next.
Literally.
So they only have their 401ks, they only have their IRAs, their retirements, and they're trying to figure out, what do I do next? So I said the first thing, get a review and make sure everything's properly structured so that you can coast. But then immediately after that, they come and they find a Bella Sloan Academy. Seriously. I'm learning, because in the family office space, not that we don't use credit, but it's just not really something, it's more venture capitalist. Right. It's less of like, hey, let's use our own, you know what I mean? So I'm learning, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is I'm all excited now. I'm like, yes. That the older you get, the less likely they are to pass you through underwriting for credit.
Yes.
So they find,
to an extent, because you're older, your credit is probably older.
Exactly.
Right. You're more,
so let's say they're
viable.
Like 50. They literally thought that they were going to have to work 15 years longer. They maybe just got laid off. But then they find Bella Sloan Academy. They find out that they can fix their credit. They get funded. And they can acquire a business.
Correct.
That's cash flowing.
Correct.
The reason this is like so like full circle and mind blowing, and I'm so excited to hear about this, is because this literally changes the trajectory of their life.
Yeah, the aha moment. Exactly.
It's like, wait, tell me, because I'm just like so excited for them, but I'm like, wow.
I used to say this crazy line. So, again, understanding money is money. So whether you worked for money or whether you got a loan for $30,000, the money is in your account. What you do with it is what's going to take you to the next level, right? So you just said like, oh, I don't have to work 15 more years to make X, Y, and Z. I remember when I retired my mom, right? She was like, and Bella was coming into the world. And we was like, I don't want to get a nanny. I don't want to put my kid in daycare because I know what's going on there. I was like, Mom, how much are you going to make a month from your Social Security check? She's like, $1,800 a month, which is sad. And it was very scary. I was like, that's what's going on? She's like, yeah, $1,800 a month. And she was going to work 3 more years so that it could be $2,000. And I was like, she's like, no, I'm just going to continue to work. I was like, Mom, I will give you $200 a month. Right. Retire now so you can take care of my damn kid. Right.
Wait, that was a year?
Huh?
No,
the 1,800 was per month.
Oh.
So she had to work 3 more years so that she can get an extra $200 in her paycheck.
Okay.
Because that was her goal to get $2,000 a month. I was like, Mom, I'll give you $200 a month to take care of my kid. Right. So now that you have a baseline of this conversation, So somebody who got laid off and fired and like, oh my God, I lost everything. I got to start all over. I got to work another 10, 15 years. When you understand money and when you understand credit, I can get you 30, 40, 50, $100,000 now. And then you can leverage that to purchase so many different assets.
So that's why you say no matter the amount of time, if you would have worked for it, or if you would have got the funding, it's still there, but what they do with it.
It's what you do with the capital, whether you worked another 15 years to get 100,000, or we can go leverage somebody else's money to go get you the 2,000, 3,000 a month that you need.
Can we just add a pin there?
Add a pin there.
I don't know if you fully understand the power and like how God is using you just in that aspect of things.
I appreciate it.
Like commercial break, but seriously, there are some really interesting things happening in the world and in the economy. Sometimes I'm just like, thank you, Anne Frank, girl, because if you didn't write that journal, we wouldn't have known what was going on. I'm starting to think we need to rebirth Anne Frank with this journaling, because there's so many things going on. But seriously, economically, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Right.
There's a lot of fear, the administration, where things are going to head. And so having an outlet and a real walking blueprint and system and framework to do what you just broke down. Right. Like if you guys just rewind the last 3 minutes of what he just said and just listen to it just like three times.
And you know what it is?
Please.
Somebody else told me this. It's like, why are these conversations so hard? And why does people say it's scammy? And we talked about what a scam is, the acronym for that. And I was like, it's because we were comfortable in learning what we learned. And our brains, literally, we fight for comfort. So anytime something challenges your religious beliefs, your economical beliefs, your health beliefs, like anytime you want to challenge it, you want to fight back, you want to push back, right? Because it takes you into an uncomfortable place, right? So like I told people, I lost 60 pounds in 12 months, right? And all I can do is tell you what I did. There's so many people who are overweight, who are 40 pounds overweight. They're arguing with me. No, that's not going to work. Okay.
But you've already done it.
But I've done it.
Okay.
Right? Or when I tell them, hey, if you buy an asset, you buy a business, it's not for everybody. I was like, but you need this information because this is how you're going to make that 100,000 is going to make you 200,000 to 300,000 a month. Like how many loans do you need to take to replace your income? Like I know you make $5,000 a month. People who make 100,000 a year, after taxes is 5,000 a month. I know the math. I can show you what to do, what to buy to go make $5,000 a month. I remember one of my ex mentors. My parents were immigrants, and when I got my first 6-figure job, 100,000. Oh, Herman, you made it, because that's you made it, right? I knew that was $5,000 a month after taxes. So I started my entrepreneur journey, and he's like, yeah, you should quit your job. And I was like, quit my job? I was like, I made it. And he's like, how much do you make after tax? I was like, 5,000. And he like ended the meeting. He was in a group of people. He's like, you don't know. This is when I first started Bellasone. He's like, you don't believe that you can make $5,000 a month? And he's like, that's sickening, right? He had to put a battery in my back because I didn't understand, and this is going to sound crazy, how easy it is to make $5,000 a month because I didn't have the information. I was telling people, go get credit. But I had yet to learn how to leverage credit. I was like, wait, if I put this here, this will make me $3,000-4,000 a month. All I got to do is do this over and over and over again. Now we had 20,000. Now we had 30,000. Oh, now I can't unsee that.
Yeah, don't skip over that word leverage, folks, because that is really, really key. And something else that stood out to me too when you're speaking is high level information plus high level implementation is the only way you'll have acceleration. Yeah. Right? If you have high level information but no implementation, you just have stagnation, if that makes sense. 1,000%. Which a lot of people may have the information, but the fact that you were able to leverage it and then share with others how to do that, I just think it's...
I think the most challenging thing about where we are right now is that some of it is... This high level information is basic information to the wealthy. Yeah. These are their pillars. We're talking about the pillars. This is a high level conversation to a lot of people listening to this podcast, but they were teaching their 6, 7, 8, 13-year-olds this information, and it is basic, right? So I've been around wealthy people. They're 15, 16-year-olds. They know this stuff already. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So that's why I realized when I'm having these conversations, I'm talking to people who I'm trying to change their mind, and it can be very difficult. We can't save everybody. No. It is what it is. And I don't have a God complex, but I'm like, no, this work is lit. Come on, let's go. And they're like, no, that sounds dumb. And I'm like, damn it. Right. And it's very difficult.
That reminds me of the story of Noah.
Yeah, the story of Noah. He's like, rain is coming. But you have to remember, it never rained before. Remember, water came up from under the earth. So they was like, water's coming.
We've never gone through this lifetime again.
Whenever, yeah. So people are like, no, that's not gonna, we don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, guys, the rain is coming and no one's listening. Listen, pillar number 7. Because we talked about credit. Yes. Y'all know about credit. Get your credit fixed. Leverage it. Make cash flow. Because cash is not king. Credit is not king. Cash flow is king.
And the leverage.
And leveraging it. Absolutely. Yes, pillar number 7. What is the final pillar?
So pillar number 7 are the principles. And the principles are like the manual. So it's kind of like if you have a tool kit, you know, or you have the tools you need to build a house and you have the picture of the completed house. You know, like we used to get puzzles.
Yeah.
And like that's how we put the puzzle together is because there's clearly a picture there.
There's clearly a picture, yeah.
That's really what the principles are. So the principles help the picture for not only you, but for your successors as well, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we're learning it as we go most of the time, right? Most entrepreneurs are figuring out this works, that works, this doesn't work, this works. But who's documenting what works and doesn't work?
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? You can't you can't multiply or manage what you don't measure, if that makes sense.
Very good.
So it just creates the ability to understand, okay, this is what it looks like. Here's the principles. Principles are timeless, right? Truth is timeless.
Truth is timeless.
So it goes through why you need a trust, right? Wrapping up those 7 pillars. Why do you need a trust? And not just a trust like the contract, but the trust between your family. And your family doesn't have to be blood, by the way. Your family office is virtual family office. Because to have a brick and mortar family office, you know, you need at least 100 M's.
100 M's. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean minimum 10, like very minimum, but because it can be a burden, the cost of having a full brick and mortar and everyone that you're paying and things. But virtual family offices, as little as $100,000 a year, someone should be making sure things are aligned. So the trust aspect of things, if you have other people in your virtual family office, these are people that you have mutuals with, like mutual values, morals, business goals, whatever. Have trust. Right? That's the principle number 1, trust. Jewish do that very well. They have trust amongst one another. 2 is the business. What are the principles of business and why you need to be a business, right? And I want to touch point on that after the show as well, about the EIN and the SSN that you created when she was born. You creating her an LLC when she was born, but understanding the principles behind that. Why are you doing that? How is it structured? What is it that you want Bella and Olivia to know about business specifically, right? The proper protection, bringing it all together. Like the 10 times annual income is a principle.
Yes.
That's a principle.
Yep.
So your kids, you want to make sure that when they get married, the first thing they make sure that this man has is, hey, do you have at least 10 times your annual income? Because my dad taught me that if anything happens, you know, we need to make sure, even though they'll be good anyway.
Right.
She still has that principle and that mindset. Private banking principles. What are the principles of banking? Well, the principles of banking, 1 is they don't save money. They steward it.
Yikes. Listen, talk to them.
They don't save money. They steward it. Have you ever seen a stewardess when you get on Delta? They say, welcome. And then they just are always like pointing you somewhere to go. They're like, oh. Because they're stewarding you. They're liaisoning you. Money is meant to be stewarded. It's not meant to be hoarded. So that's a principle. So they understand, no, where do you store it? Where do you store it? Do you store it in this vehicle or that vehicle? Where do you start? Principles. Retirement planning. Principles. What are the principles of retirement planning? It's not working until you're 70. That's a principle they created. The principle is financial freedom or financial security. I have more passive income than how much it costs to be me. Teach that to our kids. Those are principles. Succession. Like not just in our mind, oh yeah, my kids, we talk about that. No. Do you have like a family constitution that says they make sure they do this system to make sure that they have more passive income than what it costs to be them at all times?
Can we take a commercial break? I don't know if you saw, was it the manager, not the owner of Chase, but the manager, the president, is the CEO. He was on, I think, Patrick Bet-David's show. And the clip is going crazy, where he said, is it true that your children's, like when they get married, their spouses have to get a prenup? He's like, yes, because he has to protect the family fortune. So it's because it's a principle of that family that if you're going to marry, this is what happens, or you can't marry into this family because we have fortunes that we have to protect throughout generations. And then he's like, well, how do you convince them? And it was a really, really interesting clip on what to do. He's like, listen, the JP Morgan money has got to stay in the family for generations to come because it's a principle that they do have. So that's super important.
Yeah, it's a principle of succession. Like when people keep saying they're successful, you're only as successful as your successors.
Ooh.
So if you don't have a legacy layout, if you don't have a plan,
right,
if this operation can't move past you because you're the person,
right. How many big mamas houses have been lost? You know what I'm saying?
That they've paid off and it's gone. They sold the asset and then the 3 kids sold the property for $100,000. They took the $30,000 and it's blown. Or how about the kid didn't get the property because it went through probate?
They went through probate because the systems and the principles weren't put into place.
So they make sure that we're only as successful as our successors.
All right. Comes
to credit. What are the principles? Where should we keep it? Like the utilization, we know that stuff off the top of our head, but if a person got dementia, would they be able to say that 10% utilization is a golden? I know we know 30. That's
30, but 10% really is golden. Yeah.
You know, do they know that? Do they know why? Do they know, do they know that they have, a benefits administrator with Amex and Visa that when they travel out of the country, Amex and Visa will be able to help? Like, do they know these things based on their credit card? Like, hey, use your credit card if you go out the country, Sally. Yeah. Because when you go out the country, use your credit card, they'll come and help you. There's a number
that you can call.
When they first send you the credit card. It's a little booklet.
Yep.
Right?
That's very true.
So just the principles and things of that nature. And then the principles, just making sure the principles work. And one of the principles is working on the principles, stewardship. They understand gardening, if you will. It's not a set it and forget it. Yeah. The meetings, how often
you meet with your family,
when, what are we talking about?
You know what's crazy? Etc. I have meetings a lot with my family because I travel a lot. So I have big meetings where I'm like, hey, here's where the money is. Here's where some cash is to hold you over just in case for you to get access to accounts. Janelle already has your number. So I'm like, you're going to call Alexis. You're going to call my attorney. You're going to call these 3 insurance policies. These are the 5 people you need to call if anything happens to me and you'll be taken care of. Right. So we have those meetings often. Here's where the money is. Here's where the cash is in the house. Right. And then we have mini meetings. These mini meetings happen all the time because they're like a refresher because I get on a plane all the time. Right. I pray for protection, but God has a sense of humor. Right. So say, for instance, I plan to live 100 and see my grandchildren. But say, for instance, God says no. So as I'm walking out the house, Janelle, where are the credit cards? Janelle, who do you call? Janelle, just a quick.
Just to make sure.
So it's on autopilot for her.
I love that.
I send her an email. It says ICE in case of emergency. These are the 40 things you need to know if I'm not here. So we have mini meetings all the time just in case something happens. That's what I do for my family.
That's powerful.
Yeah, everyone should have those conversations with their family too because I have shit to lose.
Now, I want to ask something because I know we're wrapping up. Is how, can we get those questions in a prompt? Because I know we've spoken about helping families, helping others, but I did not know that you had many succession planning meetings. Yeah. And I think there needs to be a checklist, or there needs to be some program or something. Something? Yeah, Herman.
We should put that together.
Even the fact that you got insurance at 21, you've retired your mom, you're actually you're not only earning income, right, and doing that very well, but you have also began making sure that you have a strong foundation for wealth creation. Right. And I think that that's one of the main differentiating factors that I see, because I have quite a few, different clients that do different podcasts and things, and they ask if I can speak, and I'm like, no. Just because I don't always agree with the succession of the individuals that are going through the program. I've seen your levels of succession, if that makes sense. And so to me, I feel like the difference is you're allowing them to also create success stories. You're not just saying, go get credit. You're saying, go get credit. This is what you do with it. Leverage it. Replace your income. Get insurance. Retire your family. And now you have a wife. Ask them these questions. Have these conversations. That is much different than just fix your credit, here's funding, and move on.
You know why? In 2020, when they printed $6 trillion, and I'm a funding company, and then we helped broker a lot of those deals because we made money, I realized I became a little part of the problem. Because I would give somebody $50,000 on a business credit card, and that same person on everything I love, I will see them in the Louis Vuitton line. So I gave Jimmy
Wait, they
John,
were using the loan?
yeah, for dumb stuff. Like,
okay.
you know, I gave Jimmy John money, $50,000. Instead of Jimmy John taking money from JP Morgan, which is a business, gave John the money, last name John, the money. John went and gave the money to the Vuitton family. Instead of John taking that money, investing it, growing it, right? So
if we can just pause so y'all can catch that.
Yeah, right. So money is going through.
He said he took the family from John's family and gave it to the Vuitton family.
Gave it to the Louis Vuitton family. Gave it to the Rolls Royce family. Those are last names, right? So because, you know, money is what? Currency. So the money is just flowing quickly through our uneducated community, right? And I had to take responsibility for that. So now, and that's where Bellastone Academy was birthed. I was like, okay, now that I got you this 100, because I realized, oh, y'all don't know what to do with the money. Because I just said something cool on Instagram. I'm putting up platinum cards and $100,000 limits, and you want that at 0% interest. So you can go into debt because your mom, who's $500,000 in debt, who makes $200,000 a year and has a VP title, she's going to tell you how to do the same thing and just go create her in debt. She's not telling you how to create wealth. She's going to tell you, get an education, get a job. Nothing wrong with that. But in addition to that, she's not teaching you how to make money, protect money, save money. Anyway, so that's where Bellastone Academy came in. I had people like you come on who are much educated than me. I had a tax person come on. How to buy a business. Like, those conversations need to be had because there's people I'm giving all this capital to and they're blowing it.
Right.
So that's why it was super important. So that's why these conversations that I'm having are autopilot now. Right? Like, oh, we made 100,000 last month. No, we didn't. I probably kept like 20 because 80 of it went to taxes, insurance, my children's portfolio. I'm living off of 20%. Right? And I had to systemize my wealth. It had to happen. Now, here's how we're going to close. Two things I want to talk about before we close. Because I told them at the beginning of the pod how I'm leaving millions of dollars towards my children, right?
Yes.
Bella and Olivia, by the time they're 21, they're going to have multi-millions of dollars. Can you talk to them about how you're helping me do that using private banking and me putting my money into a life insurance policy and how it grows, et cetera, and how they'll have access to that money, et cetera.
Okay, so how deep do you want to go?
Let's keep it surface level because we gotta wrap it up. But but
I'm like
the fundamentals of it, like how
I'm like, because that is like definitely
a big conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's just say
very
surface level. I have $1,000 a month that I'm getting in income, and you're like, hey Herman, instead of putting that into Bank of America, right, where inflation is gonna eat it up, this is what you should do with that $1,000 instead.
Okay, so that helps understand. So I would say how we're focusing on doing that was number one, we started off with your insurable need. And then we went into your investment need, if you will. And so as you said, there was $1,000 a week that was being paid to you. And asked you, what are you doing with it? You said you're putting it in the bank. And I actually asked you, how much interest are you earning on that money?
0.02%. I checked.
Oh, wow.
That was terrible.
Wow.
It's a credit union. It is what it is.
Listen, it's okay. So if it's not accelerating, it's usually evaporating.
Yes.
And that was really the conversation. And so what we came up with was, how can we take 50% of that, right? Because the banks are not terrible. But how can we take 50% of that to make sure that we can use every dollar 3 to 4 ways? And so setting aside $2,000 a month in a reserve and a properly structured cash value life insurance that he was very clear he wanted to make sure that it was for living benefits.
Yes.
That's also something if I could just add in there really quickly. There's a difference making sure you understand if you're using it for death or living. Like, there is life insurance that should be structured for death. So if you have a large death benefit, but you don't want to spend an excessive amount of money, you want maybe $1 million, but you want to spend no more than $150, $200 a month, you would get a term policy with living benefits and a conversion rider so you can convert it to permanent later, which you have. But when it comes to maximizing the life side is what you're doing as far as saving 50% of every dollar that you're being paid out from your company, putting it into a properly structured cash value life insurance contract. And I believe, I'm not going to quote any ages because I don't have the ledger right in front of me, but I believe it was by about 80 or 90-ish that our death benefits combined would definitely be
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the reason for that is just because you're thinking like a banker now.
Mm-hmm.
With the term side, that's there for your estate need, and that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But on the living side, the banker side is powerful because you're leveraging every dollar 3 to 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You're now earning upwards of 8 to 10% a year minimum. We had clients last year that did 20.35%.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So imagine going from 0.02 to 20.35. Now, there's no guarantees or promises, but with how we structured yours specifically, when it's that's why the properly structured, you guys, is very important. Mm-hmm. And so with that cash value growing, raising your death benefit, because people would say, well, how is he only putting $2,000 a year? But with extra interest being earned, the cash value makes sure that there's a corridor so that the death benefit is always rising with the cash value.
Pay attention. There's I told you it's going to be a master class. Talk to your professional, or you can hire a professional. Can we talk about your team, your company? How can they get in touch with you, Alexis, so they can dive deeper and do a financial audit on their lives?
Yes, 1,000%. So company-wise, I'm with Yellow Brick Financial. And you guys can follow me on Instagram at Alexis Holifield _. We do have our Femininity and Finance cohort, which is a cohort for faith-based women focused on femininity, finance, fitness, and all of the things. Teaching them how to trade, how to understand markets, and how to make sure that we can maximize our mind and our money.
Excellent. I appreciate you so much. Listen, all of Alexis's information is in the YouTube description. We will have the email to her team so that they can be of service to you. Her Instagram will be there too. Alexis, listen, I say it almost every time, but this was a good one. This was one of my favorites podcasts that we ever done. It was super, super educational. I hope everybody takes the information. Last question for today. In 10 years, Alexis, what's going on? Because somebody's going to be watching this in 10 years and they'll look you up to see if it really happened. What does Miss Holyfield's life look like in 10 years?
You know, I would love to quantify that, but the way God works, honestly, like if you asked me that 5 years ago, what happened in 2 had already happened.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So like what I said, they're like, what was your 5-year goal? My 5-year goal when I first started in finance was to start a fund. I said, I want to go find a developer and a trader, and I want to be able to start a fund so I can help clients leverage insurance in digital markets and financial markets and things. That literally happened in 24 months. Yes. Wow. So I'm going to say, as you say, God has a sense of humor. Where we'll be is literally according to the divine design, because literally God has been quantum leaping. Even what you said, I said, Herman, how do you feel? You said, I feel like I'm living in a dream with my eyes open.
Wide open. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I would say that. But even in 10 years, what won't change are the principles. Mm-hmm. So still understanding the book of Matthew, understanding doubling, compounding interest, you know, ensuring our family leaving an inheritance. Those are still things that will still be relevant. But the quantifying, I don't think I can quantify alongside with the way Big God's been working, honestly.
Big God's been working. Yeah, that's very true. I think I'm going to adapt that too, because I'm always surprised what happens in 6 months. It was amazing. Miss Holyfield. It was an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving your time. It means a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an amazing episode of the Execute Podcast.
Yes.
Stay tuned. More to come. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Yay.